Okay. Before we start the podcast where we talk about Pokemon Go and Pokemon Go PvP, I'm going to take a quick moment to very roughly, because I haven't written anything out and done anything, I haven't posted anything on Twitter or the socials or, made my thoughts concise. But I'm going to try and not make this super absolutely crazy. On Friday, June 24th, I believe. Yes, June 24th, 2022. The Supreme Court of the United States of America overturned the ruling, the over 50-year-old ruling of the court case Roe v. Wade. If you are from outside of the U.S., or are somewhat unfamiliar, I'm going to be incredibly generic here. Roe v. Wade basically gave women the availability and the choice to choose whether or not they get an abortion. More broadly, I believe it also allowed for a bit more choice within the overall decision-making process of women's health. That ruling, as I said, stood for about 50 years or so. There was some scuttlebutt that SCOTUS was looking at overturning it or was looking back at that decision within the last couple of weeks. And on Friday, they decided to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, I'm not a news channel that doesn't just outright ban abortions, but allows state by state to, rather than the federal government saying you cannot ban this, it allows each state to then make the decision themselves. And as maybe many of you know, the United States is full of many states, some okay and bearable, and quite a handful, quite a bit less so. So as me, a human being, not necessarily as Battle Science, but me as a human being, Steven, aka Boy in the Woods, I would like to say that I wholeheartedly disagree with the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. I am in full support of women getting having the ability to choose what they do with their own bodies. It should not be anyone else's decisions but theirs. When it comes to making those decisions, it should be no one but their own decisions to make, be it any form of medical care or even more specifically abortion. So I again, I try my best, kind of all over the place as far as jumbled thoughts, everything. So incredibly disappointed in the governing bodies of the United States of America. Goodness gracious, this sucks. I know it caught a lot of people off guard, and really was maybe some of the worst news you could start a weekend with, especially going into some really cool Pokemon Go stuff over this last weekend, and we'll get to that here shortly. But know that I will I will try my best to support in any way I can the reinstation, the turning back on of the original decision of Roe v. Wade, and support women in general having the choice being able to make the choice for themselves to whether or not to have an abortion, as well as the girls at PvP and all women as part of this community. So hopefully no one can misconstrue that, and hopefully I got my point across reasonably. Jesse, yay, nay?
I think you did fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And mirror everything you said. It's an incredibly unfortunate circumstance of what has happened through our government.
And boy, howdy, do I want to be the Team Valor representative to burn it all down. Gosh darn it, I need Moltres. Where is Moltres when you need them? Burn it. Sorry. I'm not an anarchist, I swear. All right, let's talk some Pokemon stuff. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Welcome to a very caffeinated, at least one half of the Battle Science podcast is incredibly caffeinated currently. I am one of your hosts, Steven, a.k.a. Boy in the Woods, joined as always, thankfully, by Jesse, a.k.a. Rocket Admin J.
Good evening, everyone.
I was, Jesse, to let you know, thinking that if you were unable to join me, it would have been a... What was I going to call it? Steven solo sprint or something like that.
Okay.
With of Battle Science news, and try and do the best I could. If you were, depending on how you're feeling, because I know you're under the weather.
Again.
Do you not COVID?
No, it's just a cold.
Okay.
No fever. No. Like, my eyes are watering. My nose is running, and my head hurts. It sucks.
Excuse me. So it sounds like allergies, but it's not allergies.
It is not allergies. I don't. It's one of those things I looked up online. It's like, are both your eyes watery? I was like, no. Then it's the common cold.
Wild. Wait. Well, so like one is watering and then the other one isn't?
No.
What?
And they're rotating.
Oh, they're taking turns.
Yeah, basically.
That's weird. It's two.
At one point today, it was the left nose was running and the right eye was watery.
So your two eyes are TCG players and they're both running water decks? Don't worry. I'm only here for another hour and a half plus. Oh. Boy, howdy. Do we have some stuff for you? But before we get into it, let's get into a little bit of housekeeping here. Today's episode is being recorded is for the very end of June. This will go up July 1st, 2022. Recording here on the 28th. Because it is in the middle of June, we have one final shout out for our patrons, our Patreon podcast producers over at patreon.com/battlescience. Our wonderful Patreon podcast producers, P3P squared, or no, P cubed. I'm sorry. Let me get my math right. Are Dolphin93, James, a.k.a. Jimmy Bo, a.k.a. Jim is him, Evo Stevo, Winston the Champ, Jamar, and Dan P. Thank you all for being Patreon podcast producers for the month of June. If you want to be like our wonderful Patreon podcast producers, you can go over to patreon.com/battlescience and back us at the $5 tier or higher to get your name read at the beginning of the show and help support us in the absolute best way. The Patreon podcast producers, as well as any backers over at patreon.com/battlescience, $1 or more, get access to the Battle Science After Dark podcast, a podcast that Jesse and I record where we talk about whatever strikes our fancy, and we get to swear. So the couple of times I've had to censor myself here, don't have to worry about that for the Battle Science After Dark podcasts. I can go absolute ham. And boy, do I like ham. You can listen to June's Battle Science After Dark podcast, which was recorded last week. Jesse, do you remember what we talked about last week?
For the B-side?
Yes.
Nope.
Let's see. I know I talked about, I had an anecdote, a work anecdote story about somebody at work was getting revenge, and the way they got in revenge was unique. And then I talked a little bit about the hockey comedy sitcom-ish show Le Shorzy, which is on Hulu. Talked a little bit about that, and then we talked about some other Pokemon Go stuff, but I don't remember what we were talking about.
Maybe we'll have to subscribe to our own Patreon and go listen.
Oh no. People would have to go help us. Help us help you by providing you some additional entertainment in the form of hour to hour and a half additional, or hour and a half podcast lengths of additional fun content. Here we go. B-sad. Oh, that's right. The Milwaukee Play Pokemon events happened. We talked about that. Yeah, the weekend before. Not this last weekend, but the weekend before. We talked about that. Oh, boy. Boots. We have some more Play Pokemon stuff to talk about here today, but before we get into that, we have other stuffs and things.
Giddy up now. This is the news roundup.
All right, welcome to the news roundup. We have, leading off today, a very big, awesome, it's huge. It's really big. This weekend, July 3rd at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EDT, if I'm doing my math right. I think I am. It's three time zones? 3 hours? Right?
I'm not sure.
If it's 2 p.m. Eastern, and we
That
go
would be
back
11
3
a.m. here
hours,
for us.
11 a.m. PST.
Correct.
And goodness gracious, I hope I'm doing my math right, because then I'd look like an absolute goober if I get it incorrect. The Enhoff and let's see. So it's Enhoff, Final Boss AJ, DeFi, or DeFi E, 250, Simply Gabby, Need for Speedy, with production by Miss Mystic, and sponsored by pretty much every big name in the Pokemon Go PvP community. Enhoff is hosting a tournament on July 3rd with the title We Won't Stop, Battle for Row. Relating back to my intro here, this is a tournament playing the Summer Cup format from GBL, with the goal of fundraising for Planned Parenthood. Brain fart. Sorry, hold on. So you can participate. I believe you will want to DM Enhoff, so at Goddess Enhoff, GODDESSNHOFF, on Twitter. to inquire about participating. They are doing donations. Let me see what happens when I click the link. I have not donated currently. I am looking to potentially donate here in the next couple days. Donate.tiltify, tiltify.com /@nhoff/we-won't-stop-battle-for-row. That's ROE if you do not know how to spell that. To go help donate some funds to Planned Parenthood Federation of America. I will be participating. I'll be there. I don't entirely know how the stream's going to work. I know that the entire cast, all of the casters are all women. Neither myself, to my knowledge, neither myself or any other men are going to be featured as far as casters. There will be some support clips, some 30-second clip things that will be showcased as far as, say, I myself will be submitting something in support for this and support against the overturning of Roe v. Wade, etc. But I will be able to participate in the tournament. I think they mentioned there's no limit to the amount of players within it. So there's a chance it goes 10 plus rounds at 30-minute rounds per. Somebody said they would be donating $5 every time they lost. So there's a chance that they're going to be donating a whole lot, which is kind of awesome. I've got to build a Summer Cup team. I could certainly put together a team of 3 that I would run into GBL with, but building a team of 6 in this meta is going to be kind of bizarre. We'll talk about Summer Cup later. But I will be watching the stream. We won't be doing a like co-stream like we've done for a couple of the Play Pokemon events. We'll probably host it on the Battle Science Twitch page, but we won't be doing any voiceover or anything on the stream as we put it out on Twitch. I will be hanging out in our Discord, watching the stream, hanging out with people, talking about our battles, and I will be recording my battles, potentially even streaming them within the Discord as we watch the stream. I don't want to take away from what they're putting together as far as their production, which is why I just want to stream what they're doing and not put myself there. So if you want to hang out with me, I imagine this is going to go for a little while, because if we're doing an unlimited amount of rounds, we're starting at 11 o'clock. I might have to Uber eat some meals or something. We'll see how far it goes. I have the entire day free, so and plenty of time on the 4th of July to sleep in and recuperate. So we might absolutely go ham.
I might tune in, but I already have prior obligations.
Yes, you had prior obligations a while ago. This was announced Monday, because today is Tuesday. Lol.
But depending on how much free time I get at this event, I'll see if I can maybe squeak in and register in between rounds. And if I have to throw and lose, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know, having not seen a whole lot of like super big tournaments streamed, especially remote tournaments. I don't know how this is all going to work. I've been super busy outside of wanting to do this week. This week's actually quite crazy. So I need to hop into their Discord and do what I need to as far as registering, getting my information and all of that stuff. So plans for this evening. Come hang out. It is going to be streamed twitch.tv/NAHOFF. So that's NAHOFF. It's going to be huge. Your sponsors are the names of Go Stadium, the girls at PvP, PV Poke, Mazer Gaming. I don't recognize. Do you know what NEB is?
Nope.
I don't. I really should. Antimatter, GoCast, Pokemon Go PvP podcast, Poke Battler. So it's pretty huge. So, I think that's everything. We'll talk more about the Summer Cup meta here in a little bit. We all have 2 metas to talk about here today. But we also have a bunch of game updates, like event updates, but also I think probably one of the biggest announcement thingies that maybe is flying under the radar for the general PvP community, as it's posted only on Twitter. Niantic might have fixed everything. Well,
No, don't hold your breath.
PvP, a lot of things. So should I read this verbatim?
It's up to you.
Because it's kind of technical. I'm gonna read Michael Steranka's Steranka. I think it's Steranka. If it's incorrectly and you're listening, Michael, do tell me. No telling if you're actually listening, because you're probably super busy. Tell me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, please and thank you. Or someone else. Or I'll look out for it if there's any other interviews or anything. Michael Stranker retweets the Niantic support at Niantic Health tweet as of yesterday? Yes, yesterday on Monday, June 27th. I know the team over here has been working incredibly hard on these fixes over many months. As you can imagine, resolving turns on a half-second interval between players battling across the world on different levels of internet connectivity and hardware is super complex. The goal was to fix the major issues in PvP prior to the World Championships in August. We'll be monitoring the performance of this update closely, but early signs seem very positive. Curious to hear everyone's experience with this update. So I think the primary thing I'm seeing a lot of comments on is fast move denial, to the point where some has been fixed, because that was a bug. The interesting thing is I've seen a comment or two basically saying, hey, I now have to relearn all of the format of how I play, because fast move denial was a mechanic that people could rely on and not necessarily built strategies around, but knew how to sort of push and exploit.
Basically, people knew their matchups.
And knew like what fast moves,
in what scenario they won. What's every scenario?
Yeah.
Which is a refreshing take on the game, because then it's like, oh, look, the things that this should have won. Well, yeah, when the game wasn't broken.
Yes. Who is inviting me to... Nope, that's a Mega Charizard X. No, thank you. A Mewtwo, maybe, but not to one of those. This is incredibly refreshing to hear. Any online game will not be able to get past bugs. The lag, oddities, weak connections, all of that stuff will continue to happen. But it is incredibly refreshing to see that they have continued to work on this, and that I think a lot of the inconsistencies are going to be pushed out here. To be honest, I don't play a ton of GBL. I've played just enough. Jesse, have you played any GBL in the last day and a half? Have you noticed anything?
I have, but I haven't felt like it's been a difference.
Okay.
I've still seen a bug here or there, though.
Right. So, that's the one thing, is it's kind of... Their response is rather technical something to the effect of there are some bugs that have been fixed now. There will be another chunk of bugs that will be fixed in the next patch, which I think they're pushing. Feels like they're pushing updates every week or so.
Yeah,
At this,
bi-weekly at most.
yeah, at this point, it's pretty consistent.
Like the one I saw specifically today, I was playing a Pokemon through a charge move, and then usually there is a pause between each person using a charge move. The opponent's Pokemon threw their charge move immediately after mine. No animation timer or anything.
mm-hmm.
It's like you both did your charge animation at the same time, and because I would have won CMP, mine went off first, but then immediately thereafter, I got prompted to use a shield for like 2 seconds, and then the move went through.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that I'm hearing a lot of positives from the people that would know better than me. I think on Twitter. I'll have to ping, and actually maybe that's the community question of like, does with these updates, with these bug fixes, does the game feel better to you? I think that's what I want to get a sense of is, does this make you
Have hope for the future.
yeah, does this well, not necessarily does this give you hope. I mean, realistically, like, does this improve the overall mood as far as your experience with the game? But does this feel like an improvement? Does this feel like a big improvement? And is this a step in the right direction? So because this kind of sounds pretty big, then this is what I think a lot of people have been asking for quite a while. So we will have to wait another couple weeks or so, and then once we get into the World Championships, the Play Pokemon World Championships, we will see, I think, on a bigger stage, how these updates affect the game overall. So,
yeah,
color me excited, which is up to your interpretation as far as what color on the color spectrum is. So, have fun with it.
I feel like for you it's an orange.
Oh God, I love orange. Hey, do you know what happened this weekend?
Community Day?
Yeah, it was a community day. Do you know what Pokemon it was? What was that?
Do you know from Flintstones?
Oh.
I'm that old. Let me date myself.
Yeah, go ahead. Just, you fossil. You're not that much older than I am. Yes, Jesse is correct with that reference. The Dino Community Day was this last weekend on Saturday, June 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. Dino was spawning in the wild, and also Zweilius was spawning in the wild, like, a lot. Hydreigon got Brutal Swing, and we now know the final details of Brutal Swing, at least we think, right?
Speculative final details.
They wouldn't change it again, would they?
I don't know at this point.
It wouldn't surprise me if they changed it again. And we experienced the bonus raid battles after Community Day as well. But I'm gonna stop talking for a little while, and Jesse, I'm gonna ask you, what was your let's start with the first 3 hours. How did you feel about the first 3 hours? We did something a little bit different as far as the location we played.
So we decided to stay local. We went around our town. We started at one point that we usually start for our lure farming, and then from there we just casually walked with one of our other friends, with Chris, Heart of Sword, around our local town. Very hot, first hot day of the season that we had. I think I want to say it was 75 or 80. Phones were cooking
on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Give me 1 second. I think we got up to the 80s.
But we were walking around. It took us about the entirety of the event to encompass that which we consider downtown for our area. Hit a bunch of the popular spots that we know to play the game in, and halfway through our little walk, we found a wild hundo. There were a few other people locally that we don't really know that were walking around. We shouted it out. Steven was the one that found it because he found a shiny, and he's like, "That's a hundo," and so we frantically raced back, retracing our steps to where we thought it might be. Unfortunately, all of us were able to get the rest of us were able to get it. I was not sure about the locals that were there. I went to go share it in what I assumed was our local chat and tagged everybody, only to find out that I had tagged the next 2 towns over about 30 miles away because the sun was blurring on my screen, so I couldn't see where I was chatting. And someone's like, "Where's that?" And I was like, "Who's the local that's asking? Oh, this isn't the right chat."
Yeah.
And then by the time I realized it, I was like, locals aren't going to get here in time, and if I said it, they might cause an accident or something.
Yeah, it was the high was 79.
Yeah, felt like it.
Yeah. Especially walking around on some of the streets, it was let's see, 80 plus.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was really hot.
Definitely stayed hydrated.
Yes. So I think the benefit was each of us already had the hundo.
Mm-hmm.
And that was thanks to the dragon event we had in February.
That sounds right.
So we had quite a chunk of candy. I don't think, did any of us have the shiny already?
No.
But we each had already had the hundo through, let's see, I think I had mine through research.
Yeah, I got mine through research.
And then I don't know what Chris had
Research, and then I
from.
found out the other one I had was from you.
Oh, traded? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So then we found the hundo along our walk. So and I found mine happened to be the shundo. So both of my shundos are from community days here local. So the other shundo I have is also a green shiny in Beedrill from Beedrill Community Day. So that doesn't bode well for any other community days we go out or any other community days that don't focus a green shiny. So cool. Like, I
mean,
guess.
we get Chespin here soon.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. Well, maybe it's not really on the, it's not on the, what am I thinking? It's not on the loading screen. So you don't want to know what.
No, but Chikorita is, so that's probably our next classic.
Yeah, Chikorita is, and
Tepig
is. There's also another Pokemon focused on the loading screen, and that's to get ahead of myself a little bit. That is Staraptor. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. So we walked around, we hung out. I think realistically for our town, we came out pretty good overall. I think the one downside that I think you and I both encountered was a Great League. We were, all of our Great League Hydreigon were in the double digits or so, like not super fantastic. But I think overall, I think the day, if it was a little cooler, would have been nice, but very solid day for a community day.
For the first 3 hours.
Yeah. Jesse, what was your just overall thought on the mechanics of the second half of the raid features?
If Niantic was going to up the difficulty, I wish they would have told us.
Well, they did say it was a 4-star, but they didn't say it was going to be a really difficult 4-star.
They put it more on the par of a 5-star. Like, I can solo some 3-star / 4-star raids.
Mm-hmm.
I can solo a Dragonite. I can solo a Snorlax.
Mm-hmm.
I could not solo that. We barely managed to get by with 4 people.
Mm-hmm. I think the reasoning there is bringing the community together.
What community? None of our locals wanted to come out and do it.
That's the downside. And I think that thought is shared by a lot of people that, hey, this would have been really cool if the rest of my community actually cared and wanted to go to in-person raids, and because these raids were not able to be done remotely. You could send remote invites, but you would get the error that you would need to walk closer to participate.
Yep. And even I reached out to the Issaquah group and I asked what they thought, and a couple of them, the Issaquah was in the same boat. No one stayed out after the first initial 3 hours. So it was just stragglers trying to get more spawns, like Proto Man and his girlfriend just trying to get more people to get more spawns. There was a portion of the Issaquah group that went out to Bellevue because they relied on the spoofers and the cheaters out there. They just sat in the mall area and just farmed off people beating the nearby raids.
Well, I don't know if they're... I mean, it probably doesn't help that there are spoofers and cheaters.
They were spoofers. They joined in the lobby and saw the names with the numbers and the same.
Okay.
Like Savage 0666, Savage 0667.
I see. I mean, I guess that helps. Sure. And if it's super hot like it was, hanging out in the mall is an option, I guess.
I mean, that was one of the things we considered with Crossroads.
Yeah. Crossroads Mall would have worked out, I think.
One thing I will say is I think the fact that the Zwilius one could not be shiny was the huge deterrent for it overpopulating the spawns during the first 3 hours, and then the huge deterrent for people wanting to do the raid.
Yes. I think the pro and con there is, the pro is it gives more candy on catch. It gives more candy, gives more Stardust. I think a higher chance of giving XL candy as well. The con there is it can't be shiny, which...
the fact that it can't be shiny and it's not wild spawn IVs doesn't appeal to either audience.
As far as raids, sure. I think the Zwilius that spawned in the wild during Community Day, I think are also kind of in an interesting spot. That they're all over the place depending on where you're playing.
That was another thing too. The group in Bellevue said the last hour of Community Day was weather boosted.
Oh. Wait,
so there were people out doing Mewtwo raids just to try and find the hundo.
Wow. So wait, they got windy weather?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, our area, I think it was kind of getting to that point, but we weren't quite sure that we were going to get windy weather.
Yeah.
Because the valley does just very, very infrequently gets windy weather.
Yeah.
Like it's maybe once or twice, an hour or two every 3 months.
Yeah.
I think it was solid.
I mean, we did some testing, and you want to share what we found out?
Yes, I will share what we found out here in just a moment. I think overall, solid Community Day. It's an interesting way of why not just have it be a full 6 hours, I guess.
Because money.
Yeah, because I want to put it behind raid passes, which works, I guess. I don't know. Like, why not just have us buy an additional incense that works for that period of time only or something? I don't know. Or have us buy another ticket, because that's worked for GoFests. Why not have us buy an additional ticket for a Community Day that allows us to interact with it for another 3 hours? Because that's entirely doable within their systems. We've seen it happen. So, but as far as the back half of the event, we did a little bit of testing because we were pretty darn satisfied with what we had caught already. And we had some time. We were hanging out. So we had a couple of gyms in our area. We would have to walk about a block or so in either direction to hit each gym to hit a Zwilius raid and activate the 30 minutes of Dino spawns. So when we first tried out or when we first finished the community day and had the raids, there was one that we had to wait just a couple minutes for it to spawn. We hit it, and we were sort of trying to figure out how big are these dino spawns, or what's the radius of these dino spawns, what's the density, what's our pro con here, where do we really need to go, how frequently are these dino spawns, how frequent are the dino spawns, how frequent are the raid eggs appearing, etc. So we figured there was a particular area within our town that we could hit a couple of gyms. We could have some shade, as well as a handful of stops to recoup items, because boy howdy do you use a lot of items during community day. Fun fact, I'm still recovering item wise. They are very eager to give me Pokeballs and nothing else, apparently. So we were activating over the course of a couple of different raids to activate that 30-minute window of dino spawns. We put on, I think, just about everything. So we did an incense, we did lures, and was there anything else we activated? I think that was it. Lures and incense. We did standard lures. We didn't do any of the fancy typed lures. So we didn't test absolutely everything. But we found out that if you are within the radius of a completed raid within the 30 minutes, that dino would spawn on not only in the wild, but also off of your incense if you're within the radius of, or within the diameter of the completed raid within the 30 minutes, but also spawn off of lures that are on stops within the radius of the completed raid.
Was that something that they had shared with us?
I don't think they did. But when we were kind of conceptualizing how it was working initially, we were like, this might work. This would give us additional spawns, not only just standard wild spawns, but incense has something spawn every 2 minutes. Or no, incense has something spawning every minute or so if you're walking, 45 seconds to a minute while you're walking, which we weren't. I think it's 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes if you're stationary. And then
if you're stationary with an instance, it's every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes. And then lures is every 2 minutes.
Correct.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So it turns out both will spawn dino. Now, no telling if these mechanics change for the next community day in which the raid features, or even if these raid features come back in a future community day. But if they do, the interesting little nugget is both lures and incense will spawn that featured Pokemon within that radius during that 30-minute window.
Yeah, as soon as that timer's up, they will disappear like the end of the community day.
Yes. That way, if we do get something coming back and say you aren't able to participate in the first half, but you're able to participate in the second half, and you want as many spawns as possible, hit up one of the gyms, complete it, throw on as many lures and an incense if you're walking around and wanting to get as many of those spawns as possible.
I mean, ideally, what you'd want to do, especially if they keep lures for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a seasonal bonus right now, but if they end up keeping that in the future, try to find somewhere with at least 3 stops and 2 gyms. That way you can alternate between the 2 gyms for the 30 minutes for the hour lure.
Yes. The one thing to know was that the 4-star eggs they had what, like,
they were inconsistent for sure.
Yes, they were not lengthy, they were not hatched for the duration. The what was it?
They weren't like raid hours where they all start at this roughly within the 5-minute window of each other.
Uh-huh.
They were intermittent. So I think the first one we saw and we went to was hatching 20 minutes after the event started. But we just
Yes.
wanted to take a break and get lunch, so that worked out.
Yeah. I think that's it. There was a couple of odd things that was going on. Let's see. It was stickers weren't dropping in
In the shop or gifts, and then the Ultra Ball box wasn't available.
Yes, the Ultra Ball box that was the Ultra Ball box that was said to be there was not there.
Yeah.
And the Dino Community Day stickers were not dropping from stop spins and were incredibly rare from
Gifts.
gift openings. Now, realistically, as of today, Tuesday, you can still get Dino stickers from opening gifts. I don't know how long that will last.
Surprise.
Yes. I don't know how long that will last, and they are still pretty rare. Who knows if they push a window where you can spin stops
I
and get
imagine
them.
anything, it'll come back in December.
That's true. That would make sense. That would make sense. Fingers crossed. Who knows?
But yeah, Dino Community Day. Let us know how you had.
Yes. Oh goodness. Yeah, it was good, I think. And I wouldn't be like, other than just making it a full 6-hour community day. I think the raids push their desire. I think it showcases their desire to bring the community together, because it does require the community to come together to do those raids afterwards. I think if it had an additional bonus afterwards, so say it's bonus catch candy for the duration, but like say Dino caught during the raid give additional Stardust as well, so that there's still an incentive to participate in the second part of a community day, rather than
Because
saying,
looking forward, there's not going to be a lot of raids that make people want to raid. I think this was just an exception because it's it's a pseudo legendary dragon.
Yeah, it's when we get on to not. Thankfully, the next community day, while a lot of people undesirable, it doesn't have these raids afterwards. The
I thought
other
they did.
no,
Oh.
and we'll talk about that when we get to that in a little while.
Okay.
But say what region is it? Not Unova starters or Kalos starters?
Carlos at this point.
Kalos. So Froakie, Chestnut, or Froakie, Chespin, and Fennekin. Two of them start with F and one of them starts with C. Naming things is hard. It's weird. No one's gonna care. Let me look. I imagine I have enough XL candy for all of these. Or I'm working probably plenty of regular candy. Like, holy cow, plenty of regular candy. I'm already a good portion through the XL candy requirement. Froakie, Fennekin, as well as overall catches, and good PvP IVs. And Chespin. I need to spell it right. Thank you. Fingers and brain. Chespin's the only one that I really haven't caught a whole heck of a lot of, and I don't have like nearly the same regular candy and XL candy for Chespin. But like, I'm set. I don't have to worry too much about it. And I imagine a lot of other people really don't have to worry too much about, oh, community is coming, I have to go hard for those. So if they have the raid event afterwards, I don't think people are going to care unless there's another incentive to do it.
I imagine we'll get the unique form of Ash Greninja at some point, and that could be an implement for them to want to do a raid boss. But other than that, the other two don't really have much to offer.
Yeah. Besides, like, I don't know, a second community day move, a different bonus like quad XP or quad dust or something during the raid hours, or from raid catches or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't think there will be another one until we get the next pseudo dragon that makes people want to do the raids.
And even then, like, if Dino didn't make people want to do the raids, does Gumi make people want to do the raids? Does Sliggoo make people want to do the raids? Does Axew or Fracture, make people want to do those 4-star raids? And I don't think they do.
No.
But I'll give Niantic credit. It's a pretty creative way of doing it. I think it does require the community to come together, and that's what they're looking for. So, but I think there definitely needs to be some tweaks here for it to really hit with as many people as possible. And I think the other biggest thing is, because you can't use remote raid passes, it is vastly inaccessible, as well as where was I going with that? I don't remember. It's just counterintuitive to how people have been playing for the last 2 years. So
Yeah, it was one person in our local chat that's like, "Why can't I invite?" And I was like, "Because it's 2018 and you need to get your butt in the car and come over here."
Yes. It's cool. Needs tweaks. We'll see. I don't know.
Good community though.
Yes. Sorry, semi-urgent text I need to send a response to. Will not take too much time.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the UBs?
Yeah. So I don't have a graphic here in front of me, but
I've got it up
they
on
have
mine.
announced that the 2 Ultra Beasts for the in-person Go Fest, or no, they did all 3. I'm sorry. So it's Berlin, right?
Yep, Berlin is this weekend.
Which is
Fer-
Phaerosma?
yeah,
Phaerosma?
Pheromosa.
Pheromosa, thank you. Bug
Pheromones
fighting.
mimosa. Though it's not related to
Seattle
mimosas.
will be getting Buzzswole. And then I forget what's the location in Japan? Sapporo?
Yep.
We'll be getting Xurkitree. 2 of those are semi-good. Unfortunately, the cockroach is not. They have been stated to be special research reward for those who have purchased the GoFest in-person tickets. So you will be getting one and only one currently. But the theory going, or have they actually stated that at the end of the GoFest events, the second part of the GoFest Global, you will be able to obtain any of them. To my understanding, if that's correct.
Let me see.
Or is that speculative? Oh, and then
Yes.
of course the most. Sorry.
After these Ultra Beasts debut during their respective in-person and Pokemon Go Fest events, they will appear globally later in the season of Go. The collective theory is that they will show up there in the
End of season event.
Yes, the global Go Fest end event.
There is also the unknowns appearing, and of course, unfortunately, to Cowboy Hat Caterpie's much dismay, Sheriff Snorlax, aka Cowboy Hat Snorlax, yeehaw.
Yep, that was announced, and I think the collective the collective community looked at it and said, "Poor cowboy hat Caterpie."
Or Mike
guy."
Nerd.
Yep. So
But again, I still stand by that statement that we made when we first started this podcast. If a cowboy hat Caterpie can make it into the game, anything is possible.
Yup. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess, but we do also have to recognize it is Niantic, so there are going to be some things that just will not happen.
Yeah, but this is totally just a slap in the face. It's like Caterpie doesn't make money, but Snorlax does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's your Snorlax. There is
One of these
Snorlax
is
is
relevant.
yeah, Snorlax is in a different popularity tier entirely than Caterpie, unfortunately. So, but hey, if the hat 3D model asset is being put into the game, they have it. They can, you hit the S key on their keyboard when they're animating things and scale it down and put it on Caterpie if they feel like it. So, at least I think that's
I
how.
hope it's not one of those things where every evolution gets it and not just Caterpie and it can evolve.
Fingers crossed. It's a cowboy hat. Butterfree. That would be cool.
String shot lasso.
But set your expectations
Low
accordingly, because we know that costume Pokemon don't like to be able to evolve. So,
yeah.
Yes, things. The interesting thing, Formosa, Buzzwole, Xurkitree, they're all Ultra Beasts, but if they're at all anything like Nihiligo, they're not mythics, so you can trade them.
Correct.
So that's neat. Don't do with that information as you will. Don't abuse it too crazily, please and thank you.
Also, we'll see the release of the Beast Balls.
Yes.
The unique Pokeballs that were crafted by the Aether Foundation to catch. I know in this they're calling it made by Rise, but they originally were made by the Aether Foundation.
I wasn't going to correct you there. They're already in the game.
Okay.
If you have a stored Nihiligo catch, what's it called?
The research.
Stacked, you get a Beast Ball to try and catch, apparently.
In the current encounters.
This is the first new ball we have ever gotten?
Yeah. No, that's not true. We did get Premier Balls.
Oh, that's right, with the raids.
With raids
and tasks, we have Premier Balls. So this is the second ever new Pokeball we've ever gotten in Pokemon Go.
Still a shame no Master Ball.
And we're going on 7 years, or is it 6 years?
Going on 7 years.
Going on 7 years. Goodness gracious. There's so many
7 or 6? It's 2022. Came out in 2016. Math.
Numbers. Huh.
We're old.
What is it?
It came out in 2016, and we're going into 2022.
Are you asking for me inadvertently to bust out a calculator? Because I can't do that math in my head.
I can do it. I'm old, sorry, and I suck at math. Don't hate me.
22 minus 16, 6.
So this will be the 6-year anniversary.
Yes.
Whack.
Yep. Bro, we could have gotten tons of other Pokeballs. Like a ton.
Dusk Ball, Heavy Ball, Love Ball, Luxury Ball, Net Ball, Dive Ball.
Yes. I mean, who knows? Maybe with Pokemon from
GS Ball.
Pokemon from Legends Arceus, maybe we get the like OG Pokeball that you can craft from Legends Arceus.
All it takes is an apricorn and some rock.
Yep. So like that might be cool too. Who knows? Stuff and things and stuff. You dig me?
Digging.
Oh, lives in a pineapple under the sea. GlitchxCity,
Time for the July. Yep.
July content update. July Community Day. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres return to raids. Pokemon Go anniversary event and more. I'm going to try and breeze through this here because there's kind of things and not really things here. Pokemon Go Fest Berlin is this weekend. If you are going, go have fun, be safe, stay hydrated. Let us know how it is. Because that would be cool.
All good over there?
Yep, sorry. Brain fart. Pokemon Go Fest Seattle, July 22nd to July 24th.
We'll be there all 3 days.
Yes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we will be leaving Sunday night, lest we get dragged into something. Who knows? July Community Day, Sunday, July 17th. So the weekend before.
After.
What do you mean?
Or no, it's before Seattle. Sorry.
The weekend before. Hold on.
It's the Sunday of the week of Seattle Go Fest.
Yes. So that's Sunday, and then Seattle Go Fest starts on the 22nd.
Correct. So 5 days later.
That's tight, but also, as I anticipated, it's not anything people really care about. It. We'll talk about July Community Day here in a moment. Upcoming events. Pokemon Go anniversary event that starts this next week, the 6th of July. So little under a week if you're listening to this podcast. No, that's probably pollen. So July 6th to Tuesday, July 12th. So little under a week. Pokemon Go anniversary event. No details on that. I guess. Which is a bummer, but
these announcements just came out today, so.
Yep, there is no details for the Pokemon Go anniversary event. We'll probably get some information either just before Berlin or after Berlin.
I'd say after. I'd put money on after.
Yeah. And then a question mark event, a special event featuring Pokemon debuts and new adventures. You bet. Get ready to for a to be revealed event that will take place from Wednesday, July 27th to Tuesday, August 2nd. Let me take a quick peek here. That goes until July 22nd. That's then 27th is when that starts. I have a feeling I know what the question mark event is. Do we bring out what was data mined? Cover your ears if you don't want to hear potential spoilers. The question mark event might be a Galar event. This could be now realistically the anniversary event might showcase the starters for Galar. The question mark event might be the Galarian forms of the legendary birds. Because what better time to do new forms of the legendary birds than right after the Cantonian forms of the legendary birds? And while Dialga is featured, because why not?
Because time.
I guess so. Realistically,
Time wizard, right?
it's between two things. It's either a Galar event with the legendary birds because those were data mined very recently, or it is a Hisui event based on Legends Arceus, because there was a couple of things. Some of the Hisuian forms were data mined, and if Dialga is around playing around with time, they can do a question mark event where time is doing some weird stuff, and we get some Hisuian forms.
Either way, new stuff, hopefully.
Yes. Well, for sure, some new stuff. And I believe both of these events, because they are after GoFest weekends, They each have ultra unlock, specific ultra unlock bonuses for both events, which are global goals. So not even though Jesse and I say don't have tickets to Berlin, we can still contribute to ultra unlock progress.
Right.
And then the same thing for anyone that say doesn't have a ticket for Seattle Go Fest. That weekend you can still catch Pokemon, do whatever activity, spin stops, etc. Whatever the goal is, contribute to that goal for the ultra unlocks. Now, to get over to raids, Friday, July 1st through Thursday, July 7th. So for 1 week, Articuno with its shiny available. Thursday, July 7th through Thursday, July 14th, Zapdos with its shiny available. Thursday, July 14th to Friday, July 22nd, Moltres with its shiny available. Uno, dos, tres. Quattro is Dialga. So from Friday, July 22nd to Sunday, July 31st. You can get Dialga. Dialga Quattro. Doesn't roll off the tongue very well. So, also shiny available. Does not look like any of their signature moves or legacy moves are coming back on any of these Pokemon. Their shinies are coming back, which for the case of, I would say Articuno, Moltres, and Dialga are pretty cool. Zapdos is like a 5% on a like saturation shader down from what it currently is when it's shiny, so that's a bit of a bummer, but you know, to each their own. Save up those raid passes. Just hang out. Mega raids. Mega Charizard, Mega Pidgeot, Mega Gengar will appear in Mega raids. Mega Charizard X from the 1st through the 7th. The 7th through the 14th. Mega Charizard Y. Pidgeot from the 14th to the 22nd. And Gengar from the 22nd to the 31st. All available as shiny. So that's cool. Raid hours. Each legendary Pokemon 5-star will have their own raid hour during their respective weeks. So the 6th will be Articuno, the 13th will be Zapdos, the 20th will be Moltres, and the 27th will be Dialga. These are probably the 5th plus time that the legendary birds have shown up in raids. Can't imagine it's going to be easy getting a group together to do those. Dialga will, I would say, never not be relevant. So
Dialga will be the whaling season.
So yeah, go for it.
One of the most undisputed best Pokemon in Master League, potentially good in Ultra League. I think the one thing to take away is if it does, and I'm not telling people to do it, but if they do, spoiler alert, release the Galarian variants of Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, this would be a great time to stock up on candy for those.
Yes. Actually, that's true because they will share the same candy.
Correct.
So both regular and XL candy.
But I think for myself and personally, I'm going to be going hard on Dialga. I don't care for the other birds. I have 400 plus candy of the other three.
I can't imagine I have a whole lot of resources for them, but it is cool. So,
plus the three of them aren't the worst.
They aren't the worst, but they aren't
legendaries.
the best. Zapdos is, I think, the weakest of the three. Articuno is interesting.
Probably the most use though. Zapdos and Articuno probably have the most use of the three.
Moltres
just falls kind of short of Ho-Oh.
I want to say Moltres is actually really high up there as far as both, particularly as a fire type attacker. So
I think it's better as a flyer.
Okay, because I watched,
but that depends on if it's Brave Bird versus Sky Attack, and I don't think Moltres gets Incinerate.
I was watching Trainer Tip's video. Trainer Tip said that Moltres was a pretty solid fire type attacker, so especially for like DPS in raids.
So Moltres is Fire Spin or Wing Attack. Sky Attack, Fire Blast, Heat Wave, Overheat, or Ancient Power.
Okay. Yeah, I think for raids overall it's pretty solid. PvP wise, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because both flying and fire are okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Ho-Oh caps out at 43.67, while Moltres caps out at 39.17. And the difference is Ho-Oh is bulkier, but Moltres puts out 10% more damage.
July Research Breakthrough Encounters?
Yeah.
It's Lickitung. So catch him and trade him. Get that XL candy. Guaranteed XL candy till the end of this season when traded.
Too bad it doesn't get Body Slam.
Doesn't get Body Slam, which is a bummer. Its shiny chance is higher because it's an uncommon spawn. I think Trainer Tips was saying it was like a 1 in 65 or thereabouts. So that's pretty solid if you don't have the shiny one. I mean, the odds are still low, but it's better than like 1 in 240 something, which is the normal. So, yeah, that's all right. Get you some. Spotlight hours. They can't all be great. In the month of July, Pokemon Spotlight Hour will take place every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Each will spotlight a different Pokemon and a special bonus. So July 5th, this next week, will be Ladybug and 2 times XP for catching Pokemon. Yeah, if you want to build a Ladian, now is the time to catch a bunch of them. Although I will say Ladybug does seem to be pretty common. Maybe it's a weather boost thing here in the northern hemisphere where we're at, but Ladybug do seem to be somewhat frequent. July 12th, Machop with 2 times candy for catching Pokemon. Machamp I don't think Machamp will ever get overthrown as far as the
best fighting type.
One of the best, if not the best fighting type, period. Excellent. July 19th, Staryu with 2 times candy for transferring Pokemon. Unfortunately, that is before. Well, actually, fortunately and unfortunately, that is before the Seattle Go Fest. So clear out your stuff on the 19th if you're going to Seattle. Get that additional candy. And July 26th, so 2 days? Hold on. Let me look at a calendar. I'm confused. July 26th. That is the week after, the Tuesday after Seattle Go Fest. That is Meditite and 2 times XP for evolving Pokemon. I'm going to keep some of the traded Geodudes that I have and evolve them later for additional XP, because once they're traded, they're a cheap first evolution and a free second evolution. So give me that XP, baby. That sweet, sweet XP. Never can have enough. Does any of this get you excited there, Jesse?
No.
Okay. That's a bummer. Shinies are available for all of them, so if we don't have anything going on, like we could go ham, but too bad we record podcasts on Tuesdays, so yeah. What can you do? Hey, is that July? Like in a few days, is that July?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh my god, it's wild. What's that in the sky?
That bright orange object.
I was gonna say, is it a bird? Is it a plane?
Oh.
It's super mad. No, it's just Starly. A whole lot of Starly. July 2022 Community Day.
Bird up.
On Sunday, July 17th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. It's going to be a lot of Starly. The base form just hangs out on the ground. It doesn't fly around, which is kind of a bummer. But, I mean, at least it's not P-Dove. It's not pigeons. Starly.
Yeah.
Starly will appear more frequently in the wild. If you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny one. It's slightly more brown with a little bit of blue. Featured attack. If you evolve Staraptor or evolve Staravia, Starly's evolution, during the event or up to 5 hours afterwards, to get a Staraptor that nodes the fast attack Gust. I think the prominent thing that knows Gust currently is Pidgeot. Is that the only thing that has Gust currently?
Correct.
Goodness. It is a Confusion clone for flyers, which means it hits hard, takes a while, and also generates energy at a pretty reasonable clip, I will say. Yeah. Does this help Staraptor?
No.
No, it doesn't. Not really. On a purely stat by stat basis, this wins. I think in total, in all 3 leagues, this wins it ballpark 20 plus 20-ish wins of like mid level stuff. Like this doesn't get it wins in places where it needs it. You can play a little bit of bait. Staraptor has a somewhat interesting moveset. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up my own because Staraptor was one that I was like, yeah, I'm going to evolve it and have a Great League one. So currently I have one with Wing Attack, Brave Bird, and Close Combat. And by the way, Brave Bird and Close Combat are not small requirements.
It has to hurt itself to be efficient.
Yep, both of them have defense drops. So if you wanted a really underwhelming community day before a Go Fest, the exact opposite of what you're doing for Berlin, go with Starly Community Day. Because Dino was this last weekend and Berlin is happening, so people caught a whole bunch of stuff and used a bunch of resources and now have to go ham to get their resources back. But not the case for Seattle. We get to hang out and chill for Starly Community Day. The one little benefit anecdote thing here is if we don't get a rocket event between now and Starly Community Day, which I would say there is a chance that the anniversary event will allow us to TM Frustration off of Shadow Pokemon, but there's also a likelihood that that will not be the case. The benefit is Gust is a fast move, so we don't have to worry about TMing Frustration off of Staraptors. You can evolve those Shadow Staraptors to your heart's content and still get the legacy move, which works out because I have, what did I share? Like a rank 6? Like a really good one? Like a really good one?
For the Shadow, yeah.
Yes. Rank 37. A rank 9 Staraptor for Great League, just waiting to be evolved, which is also cool. So I'm set. Gonna need more XL candy for sure. But more details here. Community Day Special Research Story Field Notes Starly for $1, the equivalent pricing tier in your local currency. You'll be able to access the Starly Community Day exclusive Special Research Stories Field Notes Starly. Stay tuned for when tickets for the Special Research Story go live. Remember, you can give a ticket to a friend so they can experience the Community Day Special Research Story too. Asterisk to gift a ticket, tap the Special Research ticket in the in-game shop, then tap the gift button instead of the buy button. Tickets are non-refundable, blah, blah, blah. Certain restrictions apply. Gifting cannot be completed if the recipient has purchased a Special Research ticket or has been gifted one already. A nifty little nugget here for me loving the little narratives that are going on within this season of Pokemon Go. Willow's gone. Professor Willow is gone. So the person that is talking to you was talking to you during the field notes for Dino, and I imagine we'll be talking to you during the field notes for Starly, is Ree. So Ree will be bumbling around with your local language, because he was certainly bumbling around with English, and making some funny goofs as he was trying to interface with us, and learn more about the Pokemon around us. So That's why it's called Field Notes Starly, because Ree is taking some notes about Pokemon around us. This has me excited. No telling as far as what the items are going to be in it just yet. I know that Dino's items within that 99-cent ticket was maybe a little bit more disappointing than it has been in the past. We'll have to wait to see what Starly's is. It might be something that gets a little bit better just because the Pokemon that's being featured is a little less enticing. But again, we'll have to wait and see. The event bonuses for Starly Community Day is focusing on a catch XP. So it is a base 3 times catch XP with a 2 times candy for catching Pokemon. 2 times chance to receive Starly Candy XL from catching Starly. Incense activated during the event will last for 3 hours. As usual, 1 additional special trade can be made during the event for up to 5 hours afterwards for a maximum of 3 for the day. So a whole lot of special trades available. Which was a similar bonus to Dino Community Day. Lure modules activated during the event will last for 3 hours. Take a few snapshots during Community Day for Starly surprises. Trades made during the event and up to 5 hours afterwards will require 50% less Stardust. So if you wanted to get through your 100 trades for the day to get those free XL candies for the Pokemon you trade out, do it afterwards and save yourself a chunk of dust. Bonuses for groups. Work together with other trainers to unlock additional bonuses. If enough Pokemon are caught by trainers with help from a single lure module, the 3 times XP bonus for catching Pokemon near the lured Pokestop will increase to a 4 times bonus XP for 30 minutes. Bonus will not stack with base 3 times catch XP bonus and will instead replace it for the duration. My one complaint here is visually there is no easy way of telling when this activates. You basically just have to keep an eye out on the amount of XP you gain per catch. So
yeah, and if it's non-weather boosted, it'll be that stagnant amount.
Well, don't I look like a horse's face? Bonus raid battles after Community Day is happening just like Dino Community Day. I somehow missed this in the initial drop of this information, I guess. So from 2 to 7 p.m. local time, no one will want to do these. I'm so very sorry. After the 3-hour Community Day event ends, trainers will be able to challenge unique 4-star raid battles. Claiming victory in one of these raids will cause Starly to appear around the gym that hosted the raid for 30 minutes. Please note that the Community Day bonuses listed above in the event bonuses and bonuses for groups sections only apply to the 3-hour Community Day event period. 4-star raid battles. These raids can only be accessed with raid passes and premium battle passes. Remote raid passes cannot be used. It is Staravia in 4-star raid battles. Trying to think, it's a normal flyer. If there's anything that's super effective, ice, electric. It's not going to have anything that's going to be able to counter that. So
Aggron, all team Aggron.
Aggron is a very solid choice. Aggron, T-Tars. What's the rock fighter? Actually, that's probably not the best option, but it is a great rock type attacker. I want to say Terrakion, but that's not right.
Yeah, Terrakion's the only rock fighting we have.
I am goofy, and I did know that information. Very good rock type attacker. Also ice. I think ideally you're using
Mammoth Spine's not a bad option.
Exactly, because it will resist the flying and also hurt a lot. So bonus for completing 4-star raid battles. Once you defeat Staravia in 4-star raid battle, Starly will begin to appear in a 300-meter radius around the gym that hosted the raid for 30 minutes. If you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny one. Same shiny chance as the main hours of Starly Community Day. Starly stickers, etc. So yeah, basically Dino Community Day with an adjustment from What was Dino? Was it additional? No, it wasn't additional dust. It was a reduction in hatch distance that is getting swapped for catch XP.
Correct.
And it's entirely less desirable Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love Starly. In my playthrough of Pokemon Pearl version, I used my Staraptor all the way through to the end of the championship run. If I pulled up my save game data, my first Hall of Fame entry will have my Staraptor. If not, I think most of my Hall of Fame entries after that should continue to have my Staraptor. So, I'm excited. Also, it's a ton of XP. So if you're like me and aren't at level 50 yet, this is one you can grind for. So, yeah. Cool, I guess. Are you excited for this, Jesse?
No.
Okay. I was going to say,
Cool Pokemon, bad move.
Are you excited for this, Jesse? He says, knowing the answer already. Yeah, we'll wait and see. Staraptor could get move changes, but we are still getting closer to Worlds, play Pokemon Worlds, so they don't want to change anything up. I think that's the one interesting thing. Oh, we never talked about Brutal Swing, and it's Brutal
Originally,
Swing,
it was going to be broken, but then they made it a Surf clone.
which is still reasonable, but
It's still okay.
yeah, with having Snarl and Dragon Breath to get it there, Brutal Swing is a consistent Dark type move for Hydreigon. So, this might not move the needle for Staraptor a whole heck of a lot, and its stats really don't help it here, like at all.
It's unfortunate. It's just its charge moves. It needs a bait move.
Yeah, it needs something a little bit different here. It doesn't mean that it can't get something like Aerial Ace, or it can't get any
Even
of the
Feather
punches. Dance. Yeah, but then you're looking at a clone of Pidgeot.
Not necessarily. It's more aggressive than Pidgeot.
Yeah. I would see something like Aerial Ace. What was the move that Jumpluff got?
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics might be something it gets.
But even that's a pretty powerful move.
Yeah.
But it doesn't debuff it.
It doesn't debuff it. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be options. I'm even thinking of like maybe there's another fighting type move that it could get. Let me do a quick check here. There might be another fighting type move that it could get. That would Staraptor Pokemon Cerebi. There might be another fighting type move that will really push the needle and put it in a different spot. The downside is it's still a normal. It's even though it has fighting type moves, it's still a normal fighter at Staraptor. So it gets close combat. Final Gambit. This is in generation. Oh, this isn't even the most recent generation. So that's in Gen 7. In Gen 8, it can learn Close Combat. Still Final Gambit. The user risks everything to attack its target. The user faints but does damage equal to its HP. That might be wild. It could learn Steel Wing, Giga Impact, U-Turn, Fly, Defog, Detect and Revenge, which are both fighting type moves. Revenge is the only one that damages. So yeah, it's probably one of the only flyers that can learn Close Combat. But other than that, it really doesn't get a whole lot. So, Aerial Ace I think would really help it here. Final Gambit, if it was brought into Pokemon Go, would be fascinating, but I don't know how well that would work for it. Steel Wing is another fast attack, so that doesn't help it with Gust. Something like U-Turn would be interesting. Is Fly already in the game?
Not legally.
Okay, so Fly might be an interesting charge move at some point. Say it's a flying type clone of Surf.
I think it would. I think it'd be a beneficial thing if it was like a defense buff,
Mm-hmm.
because in the main series games they disappear for a turn and then come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be interesting. You said that it learns Feather Dance. It learns it via egg moves, which hasn't negated a Pokemon from having it in Pokemon Go yet. The other thing that I mentioned before was Revenge is also an egg move. It is a fighting type. This attack move's power is doubled if the user has been hurt by the opponent in the same turn. That might just be an attack buff, because turns are weird in Go, as we all know. So,
if anything, they'll make that a fast move. That's what it's essentially a better counter.
whoa, that would be gross.
I mean, in the games, that's what counter did. That was the slower Pokemon's way to turn the tide of battles. Is if you had a bulkier Pokemon like Snorlax or a slower fighting type like Hariyama, you give them these moves because then they're still viable if they get hit.
There are some key Pokemon that get Revenge.
Yep.
The 2 Stunfisks.
And that's as a fighting move, which would really help them against the dark types.
Yes. Cacturne and Zangoose both get it. Quillfish gets it via level up in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Technical Machine. Hey, Galarian Zapdos gets it. Blaziken, Shiftry, Crawdaunt. Okay, there's some weird stuff that gets it here.
Those are some ones that you're listing that don't really make it. They can learn it.
They can learn it via Technical
but
Machine.
they're already top speed based Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some cool stuff. Yeah, I don't know if it would be. I doubt they would make it a counter clone, but better. Just because counter is so gosh diddly darn good that if they made something even better, the world would implode. So I would hope that it would be a little less crazy than that. But who knows? I imagine it would be some sort of charge move that gives an attack buff or something. So. And then given to very few Pokemon, because don't give that to a fighting type. That's gross. All right, we are going to do thing.
Welcome to the meta-analysis.
Jump into the meta-analysis here. We're going to start with a brief overview of Summer Cup. I know Summer Cup in GBL is not going to come out until August, but the special event that is happening, the special tournament, We Won't Stop Battle for Row, is using the Summer Cup meta in a Show 6 Pick 3 format for their tournament. So we're going to briefly run over the Summer Cup meta here on stream. PvP Steve, another quick little. I do enjoy that his videos are pretty bite-sized. I would say they're very digestible and within the scope of the YouTube algorithm, I would say. I think the only thing better would be if he made them into YouTube shorts. Then YouTube would the algorithm would absolutely love it. But Summer Cup meta simplified. Nifty little graphic here that shows you've got your fighters in the center, ices and normals on the outside that they are beating, generally speaking. Your ices are beating your flyers. Your flyers are beating your fighters. The normals and rock, because Cradilly, which are losing to the fighters, are beating Araquanid. Don't worry, I'll just keep messing that one up. Araquanid and Ninetales, Cantonian Ninetales,
Yep.
And both of those are beating the fighters. And then your ghosts, your Alolan, Marowak, and Trevenant, just kind of hanging out. Because they're good neutralists and have, I think, case-by-case basis matchups against everything here. So,
Yeah.
It's weird. Summer Cup is, I believe...
I sent you the description.
Oh, you did? Oh, you are the greatest. Pokemon must be at or below 1500 CP to enter. Only normal, fire, water, grass, electric, and bug-type Pokemon will be permitted. Overall typing-wise, water has some disadvantages here. It beats fire. Overall performs really great, but both grass and electric will beat it out. So I imagine there's going to be some of those. You'll see water around town, but for the most part, there's going to be things that are going to outperform it. Especially
the normals have incredible diversity and move coverage, and then electric and grass are just unchecked because there's no ground types.
Yes. Your grass are going to be one of your better counters to the electric. It's not banning dual types, so because water's around, you'll see Swampert. You'll see your Mud Boys, which are going to resist the electric. They're going to be.
You got to be careful for those grass that are around it. A lot of normals like Lickitung have Power Whip.
Exactly, they're going to be dangerously weak to the grass. So there's some stuff all over the place, and it's gonna be a weird one. Actually, I'm curious to see Swampert's at 19 at one of the first like proper water type performers. Blaziken is higher. Counter Blaze Kick Brave Bird. Oh, you're not running. Ooh, hi. You're not running Blast Burn. You're running Blaze Kick and Brave Bird.
There at 18, we see Sydney's Shadow Amber Ninetales.
Yep. Ember with a Elite TM, Weather Ball, Fire, and Psyshock, I imagine. Though you
it's
do
Overheat.
Oh, you're running Overheat over Psyshock?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
What fighters are you using it against?
That's true. You've got pseudo fighters. So you've got, I think probably one of the only fighting is
Blaziken.
Blaziken, Beware, Chestnut at 51, Heracross at 59, Poliwrath.
But you're using fire to beat Snot and Heracross.
Yeah, I guess.
Overheat from a Shadow Ninetales, nothing likes it. Even fire types die.
No, sure. I mean, water types aren't gonna mind it too much. I imagine Swampert can take one, just because it's what, quad resist?
No, ground doesn't resist fire. It's just good against it.
Gosh darn you, rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock of Pokemon typing.
Here, I'll be able to tell you real quick.
Yeah, it's an interesting meta. I don't know what I'm gonna put together here. There's some cool stuff that I have. I got a Tropius. I don't have a Lickitung powered up, so I don't know how much I'm gonna be wanting to do. Actually, how far am I to my Lickitung? Let's find out. I feel like I have quite a ways to go. Power up. Oh. I have, let's see, 193, and I need 193, 193 Candy XL for Lickitung, and I need 216. So I am 2 power-ups away from getting a 1497. I'm at 1479 if I wanted to power it up right now, which is actually pretty close. So maybe I will try and do a Lickitung. It's only going to perform as one of the best Pokemon in this meta. So maybe now is the time to give it a shot. Let's see. Tropius, I'm okay with running. Vigoroth, I'm okay with running. A Shadow Zapdos would be a very interesting and maybe spicy pick here. I honestly don't know if I would feel okay with that. Trevenant, definitely within the cards. Walreign's going to perform pretty darn good here, I would say. Powdered Snow and Icicle Spear is going to be only resisted by waters, and I think fire, but Earthquake. So, did you go AFK again?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay. You will have some flyers with your normal flyers. You won't see Staraptor. It's way too early for that. Although, I could try Staraptor. I could go Super Spice. Staraptor. Oh, by the way, Staravia performs better because it has an Aerial Ace that doesn't debuff it. So, oh, it's got Heat Wave. Oh, that's fun. That's ridiculous. Let's see. Staraptor all the way down at 388. If I wanted to use it, Wing Attack, Brave Bird, Close Combat. It also has Heat Wave. Oh, high energy coverage with Gust. I wonder how fast it gets to Heat Wave. I don't know if it really gets there, but that might be interesting. A little bit of play. Not for this meta, I should say. But yes. I mean, overall good performers. It's interesting for me to see the electric types as high as they are when I think in the past the electric types just haven't performed that well. So like on paper they might look good, but overall I don't think they look that great.
Yeah.
So we'll have to sort of wait and see. Oh, goodness gracious. Chansey XL. That's gross. Some Snorlax action. Lurantis. Because I only hate to see that now from...
Because of Proto.
Because of... Yup. I'm gonna hold my tongue. Yeah. This meta's... I think the interesting thing is we're playing this meta well before GBL, and we're also playing it in a pick 6 show 3 or show 6 pick 3 format. So it's going to play maybe a little different than how you would play it with GBL. So thoughts?
It's good practice.
Yes. Good practice and should be good fun. So it's all depends on how much time I have to either go weird with a team and hopefully have something reasonable or run straight meta because I don't have much time else and hopefully I still put together a reasonable team. Maybe. Alrighty. Do you want to talk briefly about the Architect Cup? July 2022, the Sylph League Arena 2022 regionals. So this is not only July's meta, but also the regional meta for the Sylph League Arena 2022 season. Select 6 of any of the Pokemon from the whitelist. I'm going to speed read these because I feel like it. Deal with it. Haunter, Gengar, Dusclops, Alolan Marowak, Bayonet, help. What is
After
it?
Bayonet?
Drapion.
Okay.
Skunk Tank. Goodness gracious, my brain. Work with me here. Quillfish, Muck, Ocanto Muck, Alolan Muck, Beedrill, Venomoth, Ariados, Scolipede, Galarian Slowbro, Lapras, Celio, Frostlass, Glalie, Cranidos. No,
Great Dilly.
Cradilly. Sorry. Wrong of the two fossils. Trevenant, Jumpluff, Shifttree, Pseudoudo, Poliwrath, Beware, Dawnfan, Munchlax, and Snorlax. Normal cast form. That is only normal cast form. Linoon, Lickalicky, not Lickitung, Lickalicky. Big.
Clarification, it is the non-Galarian Linoon.
Right. That is Hoennian? I don't know
Regular
if
Linoon.
yes, or OG Lanoon. Big pink Stay Puft Marshmallow, Lickalicky, Golbat, Pelipper, Charizard, Gyarados, Typhlosion, Milotic, Malamar, and Kanto Sandslash.
I would like to make one little point out.
Okay.
These look like they're all on the same sheet because Charizard's tail flame is in Gyarados' picture if you look close enough.
That is an awesome observation. Yes. Layers wise, I bet they're all in the same layer. And then the background, they're basically like masked out one way or another. So that's a great observation, and it's really cool. Let's see. Mega's not permitted. Shadow forms are permitted. So you can't have shadows. It's weird. It's like picking things.
It's a very big whitelisted meta.
Yes, very generic whitelisted meta. There are things that definitely perform better than others, but I think even things like Kanto Sandslash, which has really not had any play, I think Kanto Sandslash has a little bit of availability here. So there is...
Especially with its community move in Shadow Claw.
Community move in Shadow Claw. I think there's a lot of poisons. Where Cantonian Sandslash can...
It's either Rock Slide or Earthquake.
Yep. Can really play around with. Also, with a lot of ghosts around, that Shadow Claw is going to be able to dish out some damage. So
the problem with that is everything that is ghost also has an answer to it.
I mean, depending. The benefit is like at Gengar and Haunter, like you have to get to what, Focus Blast?
For what? Them? No, you just spam Shadow Punch.
I guess neutral, sure.
Neutral was stab on an attack weighted Pokemon.
Bone Club for
Avalanche.
Yeah, Bone Club for Alolan Marowak.
Alolan Marowak will just go Shadow Bone. It doesn't need to do Bone Club.
Right, but you get to Bone Club faster.
True.
It gets ground on ground, so yeah. Yeah, I think it has some play. Will we see people use it? I don't think we will.
I don't think so. Not unless they're running Shadow.
I mean, even then, I don't think it performs quite as good.
No, I think the one that's been the talk of the town for our group has been Gyarados. With a very limited number of electric. With all of Gyarados' arsenal, it has a very good score even in the one shield scenario against everything.
The little bit of grass that's here is neutral because of the flying, as well as Gyarados' neutrality while using Dragon Breath or Dragon Tail.
Dragon Breath, Dragon Tail, Bite, or Waterfall.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are some cases where Waterfall, like the neutral big damage, works, but I think I like the overall neutrality and just
Dragon Breath or Tail.
Yeah, the sheer output that those two
with
can
no
do.
Steel or Fairy, it's going unopposed.
Yeah, because Ice doesn't resist it. It's this like the one pseudo dragon here, except for what, Dawn
Charizard or
right?
Milotic.
Yes. Why do I feel like Donphan has Dragon Tail?
It doesn't. It's counter, mud shot, counter, mud slap, or charm.
Does it have Dragon Tail in the main series games?
No.
Huh. It's got a dragon trunk though. Ha. That's the sound a elephant makes. Sorry, my brain is collapsing in on itself.
Whee!
Yes.
Some spicy options. Cast form.
Galele.
Resists all of the other ghosts, but still hits them.
Yup.
And it also has rock weather repel.
Yup. It spams hard. It's yeah, there's some really interesting spice here that, I mean, Bayonet. Why? Why is Bayonet here? That's probably one of the biggest, like, underperformers, maybe behind Kanto Sandslash of, like, does anyone have a Bayonet built that they're willing to run here?
I have one built. Am I willing to run it? No.
Yeah. That's my...
Why do I have one built? Because Jesse likes trying dumb things.
I mean, I think I have one locked away that I haven't second moved, but I could. So, yeah, I don't know why it's here. Maybe we'll find out later, but it seems like an interesting one.
Also, to make note, this will be our invitationals meta as well.
Yes, I believe we've made that. We made the comment earlier because it says up in the top corner. It says July on one corner and Sylph League Arena 2022 regionals in the other. So,
okay.
Yes, it does the thing. It is the stuff. It's
going to be an interesting cup. I hope it doesn't devolve into Ferocious 2.0, but I think there's enough diversity that people won't be just like, oh, it's Umbreon or bust.
Yes, thankfully that's not here.
Not from what we see yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to like building a team here. There's things that I want to like or want to use, but I won't. Like, I want to be able to use Scoliopeed. I don't think it will perform from past experience.
So here's your top 20 overall for the cup from PV Poke.
Give me a
Number
second.
1 is Beware.
Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. Architect.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 1 is Beware. Number 2 is regular Snorlax.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is Shadow Gyarados. Number 4 is Pelipper. Gyarados, number 5. 6, Cradilly. 7, Munchlax. 8, Shadow Beedrill. Snorlax Shadow, number 9. Golbat, number 10. 11, regular Cantonian Muck. Drapion regular and Drapion Shadow take up 12 and 13. Celio taking up 14. Licky taking up 15. Lapras 16. Frostlass 17. Golbat Shadow at 18. And then Malamar and Scoliopeed topping out your 20. Munchlax and Snorlax both appear consistently. Gyarados as well. Anything that you can see both their regular and shadow form on this chart tells you that they're going to be good generalists. So you have double the Gyarados, double the Snorlax, double the Golbat, and double the Drapion within top 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I there isn't any additional resources yet on this other than PV Poke. There really isn't a meta breakdown. As much as I would,
from what I'm seeing, it's either normal, water flyer, or poison.
Mm-hmm. As much as I would love to see a meta that's a lot of generalists against each other, with a lot of like neutral matchups, that never seems to happen. So I think it's going to have to boil down to a lot of RPS.
Yeah.
Unless you go absolutely wild in your team building, because somebody was running an all water team for this last meta, for June's meta, and it worked. So I imagine we might see something similar here where you know, a all poison team or something might have just enough diversity that no other team can really outperform it. So
Yeah.
but we'll have to kind of wait and see. I think it's a good mix of reasonable performers, and then outside of that, I don't know. To be honest,
Yeah, it's
my
too early to say. We just got the announcement a couple days ago, so
my brain can't
do some
handle it.
tests, play around with it.
Yep. Oh, goodness. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I think at this point we are going to wrap it up and send it off. Let's see. This weekend, it's 4th of July weekend. If you are here in America, there should be a 3-day weekend upcoming for you, at the very least. Go enjoy it. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. Please stay safe. Come hang out on Sunday again. Sunday at 11 a.m. to an indeterminate amount of time, 11 a.m. PST or 2 p.m. EDT, for a fun tournament and stream. If you are in Berlin, go have fun, catch stuff, hang out with people, be safe. Again, drink water, hydrate, stay hydrated out there, and report back. This will be the first of the in-person GoFest events, so I am interested to see what we get as far as, say, research, what the rewards for the 3 Ultra Beasts are, etc. So we'll kind of just have to wait and see what it looks like.
And then what was your community question?
How is GBL performing and trainer battles performing now that the bugs have been addressed? I want to know what your thoughts have been, what your experiences have been. Maybe a before and after. How is it feeling? Does this give you the warm and fuzzies inside? Are you feeling positive about it? So that is my question.
Awesome.
A little flexible. So if you want to reach out to us, we are at battle_science on Twitter. You can email us at battlescience.podcast@gmail.com. You can join our Discord. The link is in the description in any format you are watching or listening in. Oh, let's see. Back us on Patreon. Help support us financially. Patreon.com/battlescience. You can become a Patreon podcast producer, get your name read on the show, and get access to the Battle Science After Dark podcast, the monthly Patreon exclusive podcast. I'm saying again. If you like me saying and think it's funny, you can get it on a mug. I believe it's Stream Elements. Oh goodness, what is that link?
It's bad.
What? What's bad?
The image I sent.
I am not seeing it yet. I'm scared.
Don't worry.
Store.streamelements.com/battlescience. You can get the on a mug if you're feeling it. I'm scared. Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty terrible there, Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough, bud. I'm saying more. The caffeine is wearing off. I'm sorry.
It's late. We're both
It's
very tired from our jobs.
not as late as it could be.
That's true.
We can catch you guys out in Seattle for GoFest later on in July. We'll have one episode between now and then, so we'll fill you in with some additional information in between, and maybe give you a podcast to commute to GoFest to in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, come hang out, come say hello, ask us questions, do the stuff, be the things, be reasonable human beings to each other, please and thank you, and we'll catch you out there on the battlefield.
Bye.